Shalom, everyone. This is Rabbi Yonatan with my weekly Torah thought from Vayakhel. One of the really poignant moments in the beginning of Torah is the moment after the flood, after the destruction, after all the death, and this sort of very serene picture of the dove, the Yonat Shalom, right? The dove of peace. And as we come into Parshat Vayakhel, what does it mean? It means to gather the people together. And literally that just means you gather them all together physically so you can speak to them all. They can hear you. They're close enough together so that some of them aren't far enough away that they can't hear. But that is not, of course, what the commentators read into these beginning words, Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat Bnei Israel, that Moses gathered together all of the people of Israel. And of course, they read into it not just a physical closeness, but a spiritual closeness. And the different commentators talk about this in different ways. And we're coming in this parsha right after a great crisis, a great fracture in amongst the people with the golden calf and the sin and the people turning against each other and killing and death and a very chaotic period. And then Moses brings the people back together, as the Or Pnei Moshe says, that the Beit HaMikdash, which was later than our parsha, of course, there was no Beit HaMikdash, was destroyed because of Sinat Chinam, because of senseless hatred and also division. HaPerud v'amachloket gorem le'irur yisodot. And so the foundations of our people are shaken and torn apart and divided, and at those times there's great disunity and things just turn to chaos. And of course, I add to that this is the time when we are most vulnerable to external attacks from our external enemies, when we are divided. As we were, by the way, before October 7th. Just to remind everyone that there were hundreds of thousands of people, sometimes 500,000 people marching the streets in Israel against the judicial overhaul. By the way, some of those judicial overhaul moves have been sort of pushed through even during this war, even while the nation is tried to move itself back into a place of great unity. Just this past week, people have taken to the streets again after the prime minister has announced the firing, again, this time not of the top head of the military, but this time the attorney general. And what we learn from the Or Pnei Yehuda is that Moses, after this great chaos of the golden calf, had to bring the people back together. Because it says, Hashlamata Mishkan Tluya b'shlimut ha'am v'achduto. Because the completion of the Mishkan, of the holy place, which isn't just a building, just as a kahal, a group of people, is not just a group of people. A Mishkan is a holy place. A kahal is a holy community. And it could only be completed, and so too the Mishkan could only be completed when the nation was unified and came back together in wholeness, in shlemut. And the Or Pnei Yehuda tells us that all of this was dependent upon Moses bringing them back together. My word to all of the leadership of our people and also of the world is, it's not just a lofty, lovely fantasy It's actually the Yesodot, actually the foundation of a world that stands firm, of a world and a people who stand united in our humanity, a people that stands united in a Judaism which is diverse, depends upon our ability to be unified and not to divide our own people in order to have other triumphs, because as we learn from our holy texts and as we learn from our tradition and our history, this only leads to periods of demise. Yiratzon she'akadosh baruch hu ya'zor lanu lashlim litached chad im chavero v'gam hamanigim shelanu yasu achdut bein ha'am, that also that we come together as a people, and also our leaders bring unity as Moses did to our people. Amen. Shabbat shalom.